This conference will now be recorded.
So hi all, I'm Chandra. I'll be your trainer for this upcoming session, that is JMeter Beginner to Master in with Groovy Scripting and Dynatrace Integration. So I have 12 plus years of experience in performance testing and engineering. I have worked on various tools like JMeter, NewLoad, LoadRunner, and then application performance testing tools like Dynatrace, AppDynamics, Datadog, Puffmon, Enmon, etc. I've worked with different protocols and as well as uh, have provided multiple batches of training, okay, to different uh, aspirants, participants, as well as to different corporate clients as well. So we'll have the demo session for the JMeter Beginner to Master course. So this course will basically focus on from a beginner level, like whoever is not aware of JMeter at all. So from that level, will focus and bring up that participant or bring up that trainee to a master level. We are also going to cover Groovy scripting because that is also in much demand. Like either Bin Shell or Groovy. However, JMeter recommends Groovy over Bin Shell because Groovy has better performance than Bin Shell. Okay, along with that we'll see the Dynatrace integration also. So with Dynatrace, how JMeter can be integrated, and using Dynatrace, which is an application performance monitoring tool, how we can monitor our tests during the execution. Clear all of you? So let me go to the course content. Let me take you through it, and then we'll move to the further topics. So before I start, any queries, anyone?
Yeah, my name is Shashidhar. Just I would like to know
Yeah.
what are the things you will cover in Groovy scripting? Is it only a simple scripting, or what type of the content you will cover in Groovy scripting? I
Yeah,
would
we'll,
like
we'll,
to.
we'll go we'll go to that. Yes, I'll take you through the course content now, the course curriculum, and over there we'll discuss. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other
Uh,
queries,
Ch-
anyone?
yeah, Chandra, this is Kavya. So, are you going
Yeah.
to cover any CI/CD with JMeter, like saving the JMX scripts in Git and then uh, like anything related to CI/CD?
Yes, that concepts I will cover. How to upload the scripts to any versioning control framework like Bitbucket or GitHub. So which uses Git, right? And then how to execute the tests from the pipeline.
Okay, yeah, because that's very much needed right now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Any other queries? Okay. So let me share my screen. Hope my screen is visible to you guys.
Yes.
So here we have the JMeter Beginner to Master with Groovy Scripting and Dynatrace Integration course. So you can see the curriculum over here in this particular one. So because I told our focus will also be on people who are not aware of JMeter, who are not aware of the basics of performance testing. So I'll be providing the introduction to performance testing, that is like what is performance testing, why performance testing is required, what are the different types of performance testing, what are the different phases in the performance testing life cycle, and in each of those phases, what are the different activities which are carried out, and then from an waterfall model and agile model, how do performance testing team work in a project, all those details will be discussed. What is the entry criteria? What is the exit criteria for performance testing? And then also along with the activities, whatever is covered in each different phase, what are the challenges also? Because that is more important, guys, right? That is also more important. So along with all these topics, no, whatever interview questions will be there, that will also be covered during each session. Okay, in whichever area we are expecting interview questions, that will be discussed. How you need to answer them, that will be discussed, so that you gain that confidence to work on the JMeter projects or performance testing projects. Then we'll come to JMeter. So the introduction to JMeter, what is JMeter, then the different protocols. So what is a protocol, and then what are the different protocols supported by JMeter, what are the different features of JMeter, and then what are the prerequisites. Now JMeter is a tool, so in order to use that tool we have to see how we can install that. Okay, so the steps for installation of JMeter, and then what are the prerequisites basically. So before installing JMeter, before using JMeter, what are the prerequisites which you need to meet. So like JMeter is a Java based program, right? So or Java based tool, so Java installation is very much required. And then how to set up the Java environment variable, system variable, so basically the Java home and the path, how to set it up for Java to work correctly. And then we have the JMeter download. So one, how to download JMeter, how to install JMeter, how to launch JMeter. So on different platforms, how to launch JMeter. Along with that, we will be taking up the demos on the Windows platform. And then one of the major protocol which is being used is the HTTP protocol, right? So we'll discuss in details about what is a request, what is a response, what is a header, what are the different types of request methods, and then what are the different status codes written by the server, and how to categorize those response codes. Any queries till now, anyone on the content? Okay, and then we have the JMeter details now starting, right? What are the 12 major components of JMeter or 12 major elements of JMeter that we are going to cover? What is their significance? How to use them? Okay, how to use them. And then how to, means again for test script recording, what is the steps, what is required in order to start the test script recording, that also we are going to see. So the proxy server setup, JMeter setup to record the test scripts. Now why that is required, that will be explained in details. Many people know that yes, we have to do the proxy server setup, but why that is required, what is the significance behind that, people are not aware of the fundamentals. I have seen that when I interview people, I ask this kind of questions and no one is able to answer. So from that point of view also the sessions will be covered, so that the participants are able to get the maximum out of the sessions, they get that confidence, they get that experience, so that they can go and deliver performance testing projects. And then how to record this application from different browsers, that will be shown along with the demo. How to filter the irrelevant requests, the embedded resources, those things we are going to see. And then there is a concept of JMeter root certificate. So what is that, why is it required, how to install it, what is its validity, can the validity be changed, all those things we are going to see. Then the test script recording part, how to record a test script, how to regenerate the certificate. So if there is a validity and if the certificate has expired, how to regenerate the certificate. Then the most important element, like the test script recorder element, as far as recording is concerned. So we'll discuss about that test script recorder element, what are its attributes, what is its significance, what are the best practices settings for test script recorder. Then what are the best practices for JMeter recording, guys? What are the best practices which you need to follow while doing a recording in JMeter? And then when you install or when you download JMeter, you will have different directories, you will have different files. What are the, we'll walk you through the directory and the files. What is the significance of them? Okay, and then the important file is the jmeter.properties. What is it? How that is used? Those things we will see. And then the JMeter plugin manager we will see. Okay, the JMeter plugin manager. Then plugins installation and uninstallation. So why plugin manager is required, what is its advantage, and then what are plugins, how to install plugins, how to uninstall plugins, how to use different plugins, those things also will be covered. And then you are going to do a performance testing. You are going to deliver a performance testing project. But how will you identify which scenarios are going to be in the scope of performance testing? Clear how to identify which scenarios are going to be in scope of performance testing. And then documentation for performance testing of a web application. Now if you are going to do the performance testing of a web application, what are the things you are going to do, guys? Okay, because documentation is also required. And then the end-to-end scenario recording. Okay, recording a complete scenario from end to end. Once recording is completed, how the script is generated, right? That also we are going to see. And then enhancement of above scenarios in JMeter. Now whatever scenarios you captured or you recorded, so is that enough to consume them in the test script execution, or any steps are still further required to enhance them, to customize them so as to be fit for test execution? That we are going to see. What are the best practices for scripting and enhancement of the scripts? That we are going to see. What is correlation? Very, very important question, right? Very, very important concept. So what is correlation? About its understanding, how to do, why they are required, right? So those things we are going to see. Parameterization concept. What is parameterization? So correlation, parameterization, two very important concepts which is used in performance testing, and we are going to see about it. So why correlation is required, why parameterization is required? Okay, everything will be explained in details. Then the regular expression in JMeter, guys. How to write the regular expressions in JMeter and where to use that regular expression in JMeter, why that is going to be used, those details we are going to see. Then regular expression extractor with its attributes in detail. So there is one component known as regular expression extractor. That particular component will be discussed in details along with demo, what are its attributes, how they are going to be used. And then real-time use cases, real-time examples, okay, or real-time use cases of how to extract the dynamic values in JMeter. If you do not have left boundary, if you do not have right boundary, if your left boundary and your right boundary is changing, okay, so how to cope, come up with a solution for those kind of scenarios, how you can extract the dynamic values. Different use cases, different examples will be discussed. Any queries, anyone, till now on the course content? Any queries from anyone? Then we have the JMeter test execution. So test execution in non-GUI mode or the CLI mode along with the best practices. What is a test summarizer? Understanding about the test summarizer. What are the attributes of a test summarizer? How to stop a test in the non-GUI mode? How to stop a running test in non-GUI mode, right? Then the test execution in GUI mode, how to generate the HTML report in GUI mode, how to understand, means how once you generate the HTML report, how you want to understand that report, how you are going to infer your conclusions, how to read that report. So those things also we are going to see. How to analyze, right? How to analyze the HTML report so that you can come up with your findings. What are the key areas in the report which you need to look at? And then the scope of JMeter elements and variables. What are the scoping rules that we are going to see? What is a local variable? What is a global variable? What is their significance? How to use them? How to use the local variable and global variable, that we are going to see. Then the CSV dataset config component explanation. Okay, the CSV dataset config is used for parameterization. So how to use that, that we are going to see. How to set up test data, and so that you can use it in your performance test, because test data is very important from a performance test point of view. Functional testing, they can do away with very few amount of test data, but for performance testing, test data is very important. And how to set up the test data, how to use the test data in the JMeter test scripts, that we are going to see. Random CSV dataset config, that is another component, rather a plugin. How to use that, that we can see. Then very important concept, that is the distributed load testing concept. So what is distributed testing? Why distributed testing is required? How can you do distributed testing? Those are things we are going to see. What are the prerequisites for distributed testing? What are the important conditions which should be met for distributed testing? Those things will be discussed. How to do distributed testing in JMeter using load generators in GUI mode and non-GUI mode. So in GUI mode, how to do the distributed testing. In non-GUI mode, how to do the distributed testing. That is also going to be checked. And then the master and slave concept, right? Those things we will see. And test execution and reporting. So sorry. So once you do the test execution, or when you are in the process of test execution, how you are going to do the test execution, how you are doing the reporting part, how you are going to collect the test results, right? Those things we are going to see. Then comes the web services test design. So that is also one ask from different people, like how can we do the test script development for web services. That also is going to be covered in our sessions. Very important thing, many people are not aware that there is a capability in JMeter that you can do the test execution with bandwidth throttling. Okay, so that topic will also be covered. So what is bandwidth throttling, and then why test execution with bandwidth throttling is very important. Can that achieved in JMeter? If yes, how can that be achieved in JMeter? So test execution with bandwidth throttling. Any queries, anyone?
Uh, Hi Chandan. I would like to know, this is Madhu. I would like to know which application you will be using for the demo and all this part.
Yes. So we will be starting with sample applications. So like pet store is a very common application for beginners. That is very much required that they start with a simple application. So pet store will be used. Along with that, we have other sample applications in which the concept of correlation, parameterization, authorization, functions, right?
Mm.
Different use of controllers. So we have the list of applications that will be used for showcasing the different concepts.
Okay, and I might be that this going to be integrated with the Dynatrace also.
Yes, that is
So
going to be
Dynatrace,
integrated with
like
that.
if it's a .NET, yeah, Java application can be used for this.
So we have the list of applications, and then see application in the when it is about application, the Dynatrace will be installed on the application servers, right?
Hmm.
So Dynatrace can read the stats from the application. Along with that, our focus will be how to integrate JMeter with Dynatrace so that when you are running a test, Dynatrace
Hmm.
captures the details coming in from JMeter, right?
Correct.
And it is
Hmm.
helpful for your analysis and reporting part. So that is the way how we are going to see it.
Okay. So like mostly which we are using in the like organization standard knowledge can be given to us as part of the when
Yes,
the Dynatrace is going to be covered, how
yes,
we are going to read the reports, what exactly
yes.
points, and
Which
how to share the
sections in
result.
which sections in Dynatrace you should look for, and in those sections which are the key areas in which you should focus on. Okay, so
Hmm.
like there are
Hmm.
different terminologies like method hotspots, pure
Hmm.
path. So
Hmm.
pure path is nowadays known as distributed traces, right?
Hmm.
So front end monitoring,
Hmm.
real user monitoring, then your services monitoring, infrastructure monitoring, database monitoring. So there are so many different types of monitoring. How you should means you should have the approach ready with
Hmm.
you, right? So what is the
Hmm.
approach you are going to follow for that? Those things we'll see.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then, okay,
Thanks,
any other
Chandan.
queries?
No. Thanks, Chandan.
No problem. Anyone else? Any other queries?
Hey Chandra, this is Guru
Yeah.
from this side.
Okay, Guru.
I just wanted to understand, I hope it's a weekend training, right? So, do you have any target hours which you are trying to complete the whole course?
Yeah, so this will be a weekend course, and I think we'll have 2 hours of sessions every weekend. Actually, it will be 4 hours. So if we include Saturday and Sunday, right? So total 4 hours every weekend, and the topics are going to be covered in 45 to 50 hours. The
Total
entire
45
course.
to 50 hours. Okay.
Yes. Any other questions? Okay. And then coming to the next topics. So JMeter elements, their sub elements, their attributes and details. Now we have already seen how to record a script, how to execute a script, all those things. But again, in JMeter, there are so many other components also, right? There are so many other components which you should know about. So we'll discuss everything in detail, like what is a test plan in JMeter? What are the non-test elements? If they are non-test elements, what is their use in JMeter? What is a thread group? So these all things will already be covered in the beginning itself. However, more details will be covered regarding their attributes in details. Okay, the different options available with them, and then explanation of different elements of thread group, controller elements of JMeter, what are the different controller elements and how to use the different controllers. Then sampler elements of JMeter, what are the different samplers available, what is a sampler, right, and how to use a sampler. Those all things will be covered. What are the different config elements present in JMeter, like HTTP cookie manager, cache manager, request default, user defined variables. So many config elements are present. So how to, means what are those and how to use them. Then the assertion elements in JMeter. What is assertion? What are the different elements with the help of which you can do the assertion, their explanation, and how to use them in the test scripts. Timer elements. So what is a timer element in JMeter, why it is required, and how to use them in JMeter. Then comes the concept of pacing and think time, how to achieve pacing and think time in JMeter. Then the listener elements of JMeter. Okay, so what is a listener, why is it used, and how is it going to be used in details. Preprocessor and post-processor elements of JMeter and their significance and how to use in JMeter. So with this, you will be able to know all the different elements of JMeter, how to use them in JMeter, how to record a script in JMeter, how to execute it in JMeter, then the different concepts like distributed testing and all those things you will be able to know. By this time you will feel pretty much confident, okay, so that you can, even if you do not know JMeter at the beginning of the course, by now you would be in a position where you can confidently say, I have worked on JMeter for 2 to 3 years. Okay, and then comes the advanced topics. So our Groovy scripting. So in Groovy, we are going to see the introduction to Groovy, and then there is one component in JMeter, JSR 223. JSR is nothing but Java specification request. So Java specification request 223 component of JMeter. Why it is called JSR 223? What is its significance? And does it use only Groovy or it can use any other scripting language? Those things in the introduction we are going to see. Then as far as Groovy is concerned, how to write a comment in Groovy, how to print in Groovy, how to what are the variables in Groovy. So those all things we will see, and how to handle the variables in Groovy. Then what are the different operators in Groovy? Okay, so, and why Groovy is called a scripting language, or is it a, and how is it different from a programming language, right? Then what are the different operators in Groovy, that we are going to see. What are the variables in Groovy? So Groovy has the inbuilt variables also. So what are the different variables in Groovy, and how you are going to use Groovy to solve your real life problems in JMeter. Here all of you. So we will be learning Groovy from a JMeter point of view, guys, because we need to know how to, because people will ask you, do you know Groovy scripting? You should say yes. That confidence level should be there when you are going to the interviews. Okay, using Groovy we are going to see how to solve the problems in JMeter, which problems can be solved using Groovy, and which component of JMeter you are going to use for that. Those all things we are going to see. And then the integration of Dynatrace. So introduction to Dynatrace, what is Dynatrace and all, JMeter integration with Dynatrace, application monitoring, or during your test execution you need to see how is your application behaving, what are the different metrics which needs to be captured, So application performance monitoring with Dynatrace during JMeter execution. The points which I was saying, like front end monitoring, you will do services monitoring, database monitoring, infrastructure monitoring. Okay, how to do the monitoring, what are the steps you need to follow in order to know how that is being done. And along with that, we'll also cover the CI/CD concepts, which one ma'am was referring to. So because nowadays in most of the projects it is an ask that you implement CI/CD. Okay, so that also is going to be covered. So with this, I complete, the curriculum, the course curriculum of the JMeter Beginner to Master with Groovy Scripting and Dynatrace Integration training course. Any queries from anyone?
Hi Chandra, this is Guru again. Just a
Yeah.
general question. So, is there any type of certification available for the JMeter, and just wanted to know?
Yes. Yes. So, BlazeMeter provides JMeter Pro certification. So you can register on BlazeMeter University and go for the certification, which is free of cost. We have V Skills. Okay, V Skills also provides JMeter certification. It takes around, I think, $49 for that. Okay, so but JMeter is a product of Apache Software Foundation, but Apache Software Foundation specifically doesn't provide any certification on JMeter, but there are other organizations who provide certification on JMeter. At the end of this course, you will get a certificate from Isha Training Solutions also, that you have undergone the training on JMeter with Isha Training Solutions. However, Isha Training Solutions is not affiliated with Apache Software Foundation. Just a disclaimer to call out. But
Okay,
yes, you
great.
can get
Yeah.
certifications with BlazeMeter, vSkills, all those organizations on JMeter.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Anything else? Any other queries? Any other queries?
So you are covering JMeter integration with the Dynatrace, is it?
Yes.
And can we uh, register in Dynatrace, and then how will we do that? Just like I'm wondering.
Yeah. Yeah. So the trial version of Dynatrace will be used for the training session. I'll tell you how to install Dynatrace, where you need to install Dynatrace, and then how to use Dynatrace.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and also CI/CD integration.
Yes,
CI/CD,
that will,
which tool you will
I'll
show?
show you. I'll show you the integration with Jenkins.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers.
Uh, Hi Chandan, there again. Just want to
So
know,
your
like
voice is not
now.
audible.
Now it is okay, Chandan.
Yes, now it is better. Yes.
Okay, sorry for that. So
No
actually
problem.
nowadays you might be knowing that we most of the organization they're using encryption kind of things activity, correct? Uh, so any you know classes will be kind of the encryption, how to handle those kind, and agree that it totally depends organization to organization, but at least to provide the basic idea of that, like login, username, password, yeah, some account encryption kind of things.
Yeah, that concept I'll tell you. Okay, I'll cover that part as well in the advanced topics.
Okay, so that will be under JSR 223, right?
Yes,
Okay, okay, thanks, Chandra.
no problem.
Yeah, this JSR 223. is it like, is it a Java, is it a Java code, or like what is the difference between JSR 223 and Java?
Java is a programming language, right?
Okay.
JSR is Java specification request. So Java specification request means you will find there are so there is a Java community, right? Any developer, if they want to leverage Java and they want to bring in new features, okay, like bin shell or JSR 223. So these all are, basically Java specification requests only. So you develop something new, you submit it to the Java community. So they have a panel for reviewers. They will review your request, and if that is found to be good and valid, that will be published as a JSR. So JSR 223 is one such kind, and that is used in JMeter for using different programming languages or different scripting languages. You can achieve more with those elements. So when we go into that topic, I'll discuss more about that.
So my question is very simple. Can we use directly Java programming language in JMeter?
So here you can use JavaScript, you can use bin shell, you can use Groovy, okay, and they will be more of similar to Java only. So they come with their own IDE, like JSR 223 will have its IDE, bin shell preprocessor, post-processor will have its IDE, and then you can write small pieces of code, or externally also you can write a piece of code and you can call that in JMeter.
Okay, you mean the Java code, right? Java code
Yes,
I can
yes,
write and then we can call it from JMeter.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Any other queries?
Yeah, one more thing actually. So I don't know how much it is possible because uh, so nowadays this cloud computing is on much demand, right? Do we have any kind of introduction how we can use our JMeter to to use for the cloud applications, and how we can scale up, scale down in order to provide the statistics to the uh, development team.
Basically, your point is on the cloud performance testing, right? So
Yes.
cloud performance testing, okay. So I'll dedicate one session to that maybe. Yeah. So see, this is going to be a vast course, and so many things are there in the market nowadays. And to cover everything, it is not possible. But yes, because there are requests from your side, I'll include that as well maybe. So I'll update the course curriculum. Okay. So what
Thank
your
you.
approach should be for cloud performance testing, those all things we'll see how you can leverage that with JMeter.
And the
Okay.
duration is 1 hour, is it?
No, it will be 2 hours per day. Saturday and Sunday, 2 hours each. So it will be 4 hours.
This is the 9:30 to 11:30.
The timings will be confirmed to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Chandra. What will be the
Yeah.
end date for this course?
The
What's the
course
schedule?
duration, yeah, the course duration will be of 45 to 50 hours. So we'll
Hmm.
be covering them mostly in, 12 to 13 weekends. So on an average, it will be like 3 months maybe.
Okay, okay. And when it's going to start? Exactly the date?
So So we have the demo session today. So the regular sessions will start from tomorrow, I believe. However, the message will be confirmed in the WhatsApp group.
Okay. Fine. Thank you.
Any other queries?
So on which application you will show the demo, and like what we need to install?
So there are different list of applications which we'll be using for our script development, and those list of applications will be shared during the sessions, and the steps will also be shown on how to install, and sometimes you might not have to install because the applications are already hosted on our servers and you can use them. So those details will be shared during the sessions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other queries? So let us start with the topics now, guys. Okay, let me start for the day. Now coming to the introduction to performance testing. Okay, I will bring in three different points in front of you, like day of exam results publication, booking the Tatkal tickets, first big billion day sale of Flipkart. Now when I am saying these points or when I'm highlighting these points, where am I redirecting you, or what hints am I trying to give you? Anyone? What hints am I trying to give you?
Yeah, these are the events. Basically, we can call it as
So
peak
many
days.
users will log in for Tatkal tickets. So many users.
Server busy.
Yes. So these events, right? These events are somewhat more inclined towards the performance of the application rather than the functionality of the application. Are you agreeing with me?
Yes.
What is the difference between functionality? What is the difference between performance? Functionality means you are checking whether the business flow or whatever is the expected end result or whatever is the expected output, are you getting that expected output or not? If I have to add two numbers in functional testing, I will check when I add those two numbers, the sum which I am going to get is correct or not. 2 plus 3 should be 5, not 2 plus 3 should not be 6. Right? The application should give me the output of 5 and not 6. That is what I'm going to check functionally. But if I'm telling about performance, what will I check? Definitely 5 should come. But how fast the application is able to tell me that 2 plus 3 is equal to 5? How fast the application is able to tell me? Understood the difference between functional testing and performance testing. Now these three things, exam results publication, Tatkal ticket booking, Flipkart's first big billion day sale, these three events, I've just taken examples, there could be so many more lists of events added to it. These three events point me to the performance of an application, because the website on which the exam results will be published, let's say any university website, any college website, they are also used on other days. Why have I specifically called out the exam results? Because on that day I am expecting that more number of users, more number of footfall will happen on the website. Similarly, during the Tatkal ticket booking, it's not that users use the IRCTC website during Tatkal booking only. No, they use the website for booking their tickets at other times as well. But why Tatkal? because at that point of time I'm going to see huge increase in number of users accessing my website. And I have specifically called out for Flipkart's first big billion day sale because, as all of you would know, the servers went down. It was a humongous success for Flipkart as far as the number of users coming and accessing the application, but when it came to its performance, it was not able to cope up with the volume. So these all events point me to the performance. The functionality is definitely there. However, the performance is more, highlighted in this case. Now, when I tell about performance, definitely I'll have performance testing requirements. Right? Now, before going to the requirements, what we do is in performance testing, our focus is on measuring first speed. I'm trying to verify how fast my application is going to respond. How fast my application is going to respond, that is the speed. Nowadays, people do not have any patience, right? With these smartphones on every hands, with internet accessible to everyone, people want that their application should respond very fast. If they do not like any particular application, they will switch to the competitor. As a result, the very application is going to have loss, right? And for any business, every businessman wants to have profit. They do not want to lose their customers at any point of time. That is why speed is very, very important. Next is the scalability. With performance testing, we are also going to verify the scalability of our application, of our hardware. So when I say about application, it is both from a software point of view and the hardware point of view. Whether my application is scalable or not. Now, what is scalable or what is scalability? Now, these things like Tatkal tickets, exam results, these sale kind of events. My application is, let's say, being accessed by a certain number of users, and then when these things come up, my application is definitely going to see a rise in the number of users. So in that case, if my application will say no, 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 I cannot serve these many users, I'm going down. Is that a possibility? Yes, that is a possibility. But that possibility is not good for the health of the application. So we have to check if the application is scalable or not, if it is able to scale and cater to the added number of users or not. Then the next important point which we verify in performance testing is reliability. So I will say my application is very fast. My application is scalable. It can cater to, let's say, 200%, 300% increase in the load. However, with these two things also at the peak, is my application reliable? Can my application, can I say that my application is reliable? Can I trust my application? Can it give the same performance over a longer duration of time? Right? So these three factors, basically speed, scalability, reliability. These three things are verified, are checked with the help of performance testing. So we'll dive more details into them. Now, when I do performance testing, I verify some requirements. Those requirements we call it as non-functional requirements, NFRs, right? Non-functional requirements. They are very different from functional requirements. In non-functional requirements, you will get some examples like this. The response time of different application screens should be less than 2 seconds. The application shall be able to handle at least 1000 transactions per second. The application shall support 2000 concurrent users. So some examples of NFRs, guys. The NFRs will be like this, will be framed like this, and you have to understand what do they mean, and you will understand them when you know what is performance testing, how to do the performance testing. Clear all of you guys? So with this, I will complete the session for today, the demo session for today, and we will resume in the next session. The details will be shared in the WhatsApp group. Thank you. Thank you so much for attending this session.